Welcome to a Bestow TV production. If you enjoy our content, please click the subscribe button. To get notifications of new releases, ring that bell. Thank you, and away we go.
Creative continuity at Motor City Comic Con. Get the latest news directly from cosplayers, artists, writers, and the occasional celebrity. Tune in for Creative Continuity's coverage of Motor City Comic Con. We bring the convention to you.
Hi, we're at Motor City Comic Con 2013 in Detroit, talking here with Steve Scott, artist. How you doing, Mr.
I'm doing wonderfully well, man. Comics, I got started working for Malibu Comics, and then followed by Razor. I did Razor for London Night Studios. That was probably where I really cut my teeth more than anything. And currently, I'm in the talks to do some more work on Razor for London Night Studios. Paper's been signed for a movie, and so Everett, the owner, is wanting me involved in that.
What'd you consider your first major project, probably?
My first major gig? Oh, major. Well, I worked on Batman 2 years ago, the series Batman.
With Tony Daniel.
With Tony Daniel. Indiana Jones was a lot of fun. And, George Lucas bought some of those pages. He owns some of that. It's hard to tell. I've worked on so many projects that meant a lot to me that it's hard for me to pin down which one. I'm just happy to be doing this.
Yeah, it definitely seems like you really are passionate about it. But what do you think broke you in right away as your first project to break you in?
Okay, well, getting into the big league, so to speak, was Marvel Comics. I was doing the second series of New Warriors. Yeah. I started off doing New Warriors, and from there I just went on to do work on JLA for DC Comics, and I've just been working in the industry ever since. Spot on here and there. I was a firefighter for 16 years.
Oh wow!
Doing comics as well, but now for the last 6 years, this is all I do, and I love it. It keeps me extremely busy and happy.
How'd you decide to start working at Marvel?
How did I decide to start working at Marvel? They contacted me. One of the editors saw my work for London Night Studios and really liked my work. And I think I did a work after that for Tony Daniel on 10th for Wizard. And somehow the connectivity just started to pan out for them, and they contacted me. I just like working on good stories no matter who's doing them. I've worked with Chris Claremont, Mark Waid on JLA, Brian K. Vaughan also on JLA. And again, here recently, the Neil Gaiman. I like telling a good story. I like being part of the process.
That's awesome. Do you think that with all your projects coming up to that point, that you got then into that DC recognized you from your past work?
Oh yeah, it ends up being one of those cases where it's a building block process. You begin doing something for a particular publisher, it gets some kind of recognition, then they pay attention, they take note. Even with the DC, I remember Dan Raspler contacted me wanting me to work for DC. He was the editor of JLA at the time, and it just gets connected.
In terms of writers, who have you enjoyed working with most?
I currently love working with James Maddox, who I'm working on this project with that I'm co-owner of. Yeah. James is an amazing writer, and it's a true collaboration between the two of us on the Blue Nemesis project. Yeah. Other than James, I would say it was Mark Waid. I love his writing. Rob Williams, who wrote the Indiana Jones. There's several. It's hard for me to call, but those three I'd say are my top three.
What interested you about working on Indiana Jones?
Oh man, I'm a fan geek of that. I grew up on Indiana Jones. This is like some of the work on it. You'll see it later. Yeah. The hard thing about Indiana Jones was the whole time I'd go begin my page that day, in my head, dun da 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 dun da da. The whole time I was actually doing. Yeah. I was doing the theme song. Good thing I wasn't doing Jaws. It would have been da-da, 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 da-da. Anyway, but no, I'm a big fan of this, man. I love the pop culture stuff. I grew up on it, and I love it.
Going back now, you brought up Tony Daniel and Batman. How'd you get contacted to work with him on that?
It was just an editor that did. I had just done some work on Batman Confidential. It was issue 49. Yeah. That was critically acclaimed, very widely. People loved it. They loved the story. They loved the work that I had contributed to it. And so it was several months later, they had a 4-issue spot available, and it got to team me and Tony Daniel up again. And it was vastly different from back when we did it back in 1998, I believe it was. I mean, his style had changed, my style had changed. So it was a lot of fun to see how we would tackle things now.
How does your art style develop over time? How do you go about changing it?
I just I try to become a better storyteller. To me, it's all concentrated on lighting, camera angles, storytelling, and once you get anatomy out of the way and drawing the picture, that's not a hassle to me anymore. So now I can concentrate on being the actor, set designer, storyteller, director. And so it's just based on that. I got more of a realistic approach, more of a black and gritty look now than I used to have. It was more cartoony. I just like to keep it, I like to concentrate on lighting and mood.
Do you find your penciling changes over time as well? And
yeah, actually, I'm also inking myself now exclusively, so I pencil a lot looser, and I do a lot of the finished work in my inks, which I wish I had done that years ago. I've worked with some talented inkers, but I love inking myself. I really do.
You love just the independence of controlling your art, perhaps?
Yeah. I'm kind of I don't know, I'm OCD that way, and I color my work. You know, the prints that you see here, most of them were all colored by me. Okay. So I also do my own coloring too, digital coloring.
That's awesome.
Everybody needs to. If you want to get into the comics industry right now, and you don't want to just pencil, don't learn inking. Learn Photoshop. I'm just saying. Everyone needs the colored comic book. So learn Photoshop.
So tell me about your Neil Gaiman project you're doing right now.
Well, it's called The Graveyard. It's the adaptation of the novel. P. Craig Russell's a friend of mine, and he contacted me, a couple of months ago, maybe at best, and said there's several artists that are involved with the project. He's done most of it. He did the layouts for the whole book, and he wanted me to be part of it. And so I did an interlude scene. Several pages that's going to be at the end of the first volume of it. Okay. And I'm so excited about that because I'm a big fan of Craig Russell, and of course everybody's a Neil Gaiman fan. I love his work.
How is it working with those guys, the collaborative process perhaps?
Oh, it was great. Primarily I was working with Craig, and he's been in this business long enough. He's very professional. He's easy to work with, and I get to also see all the other pages from the other artists are coming into my mailbox almost every day. I get to see the other people's work, and I'm just blown away by what I'm seeing. It's going to be one heck of a book. So.
He's trying essentially with you as well to pick a certain artist for a certain part of the story and try to see what works best and stuff like that.
Right. It's not typically done, but I mean he's doing it on this, and I think it works beautifully well. He did basic layouts. And the boards came to me already lettered. So the layouts were given. All we had to all do was the acting, lighting, and render in our own particular styles, and pencils and inks, and it was a blast to do it.
On that note, Mr. Scott, this is Tommy Zimmer signing off at Motor City. Thanks.
It's the 10 commandments of successfully working with artists. And if you're a writer and you want to create comics and you want to work with artists, these are probably like the 10 best rules or commandments or guidelines that I could give people that might be interested. Thou shalt not treat your artist as an art robot or an art machine. Comic artists are aspiring professionals with their own dreams and desires just like you. They are not machines put on this earth made only to make your scripts come to life. Okay. Don't forget that as you start to see the pages rolling in. Okay. Artists are aspiring professionals just like you. You have a skill set. I know everyone can write. Just ask anybody. Whenever you tell people you're a writer, I've always had a story I wanted to write too. It's always about their dreams or their life. And hey, man, I write Nightmare World. I'm not making fun of anybody. It is my life and my nightmares and everything else, but artists have a skill set too. Okay? They are aspiring professionals. They are not put on this earth to draw your script so you can start rolling around in money or swimming in the money vault like Scrooge McDuck. They want to make it too. They want to make a living out of this. They want to be able to pay their bills to draw. Because if you like to draw, how awesome would that be? Just like how awesome would it be to be paid to write and go to shows every weekend and talk to people that are awesome and know vibe. They're professionals. Treat people like professionals. The other thing is, it is the coolest thing in the world to see pages roll in, man. when you see pages starting to roll in and things like that, it is just fantastic. It's awesome. Anyone here like worked on a script and had an artist start drawing it? What's it feel like when you get the pages rolling in? Oh, you drew it, all right. Was the artist all like excited and like, they treat you all right, or did they start getting kind of crazy? You can be honest, is this him right here?
No,
Oh, okay. It's cool though, man, when you get pages rolling in, it's awesome, like, I'm making comics, I'm Stan Lee up in this. You know, and you gotta be very careful. Remember, these are other aspiring professionals, you know. Be courteous. They're not just put on earth to make you draw. It's a collaborative process. They may have better ideas on how to frame something out or something like that. And if that's the case, listen to what they're saying. Yeah, I'm a writer. To me, the best kind of conflict, lock two people who hate each other in a room and make it that they can't hurt each other. That's conflict to me, but it's also talking heads. You know, again, like I said earlier, give artists cool stuff to draw, but also keep in mind that they may have better ways of drawing the things than you do. An O for number, VI for saving no money. Kudos to you.
Watch Creative Continuity, Costunes, Con Rewind, Mr. Lobo Does, and more on this channel.
Creative Continuity. We bring the convention to you.